Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great. Welcome to this new video and this update on Solana. We're going to do a full update. We'll talk about the technicals. We'll talk about some fundamentals. There's some very interesting things going on with Solana right now, which I haven't really heard many people talking about, but we will. And in general, I have gotten a bit more bullish because of that on Solana. So let's get right into it. Now, what I like to do in these videos, if you're new to the channel, then welcome, of course. What I like to do is I try to give you a very, very good overview of everything around Solana, right? So starting off with the fundamentals. Fundamentals are actually not that great, right? So the fees, the DEX trading volume, DEX trading volumes yesterday were up quite a bit because of some shit coins that launched. But the TVL is actually down. It has stabilized a bit. I mean, it's basically been the same for the last week, even a bit higher. But it's no longer in the uptrend it was at in November, and then especially also January it was great. It's still very high. I mean, Solana is still the second biggest chain, but outside of that, no major growth, which is fine. But that's the situation right now. However, what has changed and what I do think is interesting is that, we'll talk about the technicals later, is that we've actually seen the Solana ecosystem do quite well. All right, so then I'm talking mostly about Jupiter, which I actually do think is starting to look quite good here. And in general, Jupiter is an amazing project, but it has also broken out here. And we have seen some new momentum coming in, which I think is very interesting. But then outside of that, Jito has also been relatively bullish over the last couple of days. As you can see right here, bounced very nicely from support. And rejected at resistance, but it's showing signs of life. Now, I have to say, I mean, Popcat as a meme coin did quite well, but outside of that, like the meme coin sector on Solana is still pretty dead. I mean, something like Bonk hasn't really done anything, even though it did get some more activity yesterday. So there's these early signs of bullish momentum in the ecosystem, which I like a lot. And then outside of that, I also think there's early signs of the altcoin market in general actually being better. I mean, if you look at the total 3 right here, it's actually trying to get some sort of a bullish breakout back into this area right here, which would mean a lot of upside potential for some moves. And I'm just personally very bullish on the Solana ETF. I think it's coming. It's been acknowledged. I think it's coming somewhere in 2025. Might still take some time, but that does mean fundamentally that we have this bullish fundamental catalyst in the works. Now, even though all of this is going on, and I think that is bullish, we have to be realistic as well and say that Sol BTC, so Solana against Bitcoin, is still weak. And Solana itself, the Sol coin, the native coin we're talking about, is also not showing any signs of breaking out or strong momentum. All right, so there's behind the screens and around the Sol coin, some interesting things are going on. But if we're looking at Sol specifically, the volume is quite good. Volume over the last 24 hours has increased quite a bit. However, we're waiting still for that strong momentum to kick in before we can actually break out above our main resistance level at 205 and rally into 225, but probably higher as well, because this is what I expect. However, the big question is, and then probably afterwards also something like this, but that's, for later. But the big question is as well, when will this happen? And at this point of time, that still remains unclear, right? Because Solana doesn't have that momentum. We could just as well spike down first into that level at 175. That's what we talked about very often last week as well, before ultimately gaining a lot of momentum and liquidity from there, reclaiming and then doing something like this, right? So for now, that is still quite uncertain for Solana. I would say it is most likely that we'll actually spike down first. So that's my prediction before we do something like this. But just in general, be aware of short term, it's a bit volatile and it's a bit uncertain. Long term, I think Solana is starting to look better every week. But those are my thoughts. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all in my next videos, and bye.